Willows.
And I'm Jenna Pierce. We'd love to welcome you to our podcast, The Flow of Ink.
Which is a great place where we take our writing life day by day and our stories page by page.
So, why don't you sit back, relax, and stay for a bit while we have a chat?
We don't have any questions right now, so we'll jump into today's episode. Pantsers versus plotters. What are pantsers versus and plotters, Jenna?
Well, a plotter is what I will start with, and a plotter is a type of author who meticulously plans and outlines their story before they begin writing. They will also develop outlines, summaries, and or detailed notes before they start their writing process. They usually know the main story beats and have planned out the character arcs and the world in advance. And why don't you go ahead and give us the definition of a pantser?
Yes, I will. A pantser is a type of writer who likes to fly by the seat of their pants. They write completely without a roadmap. They could have an idea for the ending that they would be working towards, but it's liable to change. They might have a structure in their head, even if they don't write it down. Why don't you give us the planter or the planter?
That's a good one. This is a relatively new term in the author world. Some people prefer to call it planter, other people prefer to call it plantser. So, either way, this is a type of writer who likes to write as a plotter and a pantser, wherever it may apply to their writing. This is a method that is widely known by many writers who understand the advantages of plotting an outline novel while also being able to give the characters free will.
Yes, I actually know a few famous plotters, one of my favorite being J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. We all know that I love that.
Oh, yeah.
A few others are James Patterson, who wrote the Alex Cross series and the Maximum Ride series.
Yeah.
A few of my favorites when I was younger. R.L. Stein, speaking of younger, the author of the Goosebumps and Fear Street series.
Those were my books when I was a little
Yes.
kid, like in
Yes.
elementary and middle school. Yep.
Yep. My brother even had a Goosebumps bed set, like comforter and everything. It was.
I had the entire book collection.
Yep. The other one would be John Grisham, the author of The Camino Island and The Whistler. Uh,
Really good books.
yes. Why don't you give us a few famous pantsers?
Good one. So, a few of these authors, when I first heard the terms pantsers versus plotters, I discovered that Stephen King is a pantser, which I never would have guessed, but
No.
I thought that was really cool. So I've kind of known about him for a couple of years now, but some of the others that really threw me in for a loop are George R. Martin, who is the author of the Game of Thrones book series.
That's a huge surprise. I would have never thought that.
Right, because it's the it's the fantasy world that's like so different from, you know,
Everything.
the real world, right?
Yeah.
And then of course there's Mark Twain, the author of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
And then of course one of the classics, Ernest Hemingway, the author of A Farewell to Arms.
I would
How
have
about
never
that?
guessed it. Like, never. Those type of books just don't seem like the ones that would be by a pantser.
Right?
I
All
guess,
right, so let's see who we can find as far as planters or planters are concerned. Duna?
yes, I found one. It is a very difficult thing to find confirmed planters or planters. So the one that I did find was Suzanne Collins. She is more relaxed plotter, and she used a 3-act structure for the Hunger Games trilogy, but did not outline every single detail. A quote that we have found by her is, "I've learned it helps me to work out the key structural points before I begin a story. The inciting incident, acts, breaks, mid story reversal, crisis, climax, those sort of things. I'll know a lot of what fills the spaces between them as well. But I leave some uncharted room for the characters to develop. And if a door opens along the way and I'm intrigued by where it leads, I'll definitely go through it." I think that
Yeah,
we can relate to that. That's yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I love what she said at the end there about
Yes.
leaving room for the characters to develop. Like, come on, give them a little room, give them a
Exactly.
little, you know,
Give them their breathing space. Yes.
yeah.
So why don't you tell us about Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah, he is the only other one that we have been able to find that is um sort of confirmed as a planster, but I'm not too sure, but it seems like everything that I found on him seems to point to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have found a quote that I really enjoyed reading of his. This is how it goes. "So I've grown to follow what I call a point on the map philosophy of writing. I've heard some other writers speak of similar methods. Some call this the floating outline method. So I know I'm not unique. I do think that this is a good way to have some of the organization of an outline without losing spontaneity." I love it.
Yes.
I
Couldn't have
love it
said it
because
better
that
ourselves.
exactly, and it speaks to the spontaneity of the characters to
It does.
let them lead you through their story, right?
Yes, exactly. So,
Oh,
why don't we discuss the pros and cons of being each thing?
yes.
I will start with the pros of being a plotter. The pros are plotters, having planned out their novels ahead of time, know what is going to happen before they write it. This makes it much easier for them to bust writer's block. Also, it's harder to get stuck when you know what's going to happen next. Plotters also tend to get their novels written faster, or at least more smoothly.
Hmm.
So,
Sounds awesome.
yeah. Why don't you give us a con?
Well, I was only able to get one con together for this. That this makes a big con for plotters. So basically, plotters tend to be confined to their plans,
Mm-hmm.
meaning if they do get stuck or want to change something, then they often have to redo the whole outline.
Oh, that would be awful. I couldn't imagine.
To everybody out there who's a plotter, kudos to you.
Yes, so we apologize as well for the frustrations you go through.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We're so sorry that you have to do that. But if you enjoy it, then all the more power to you, right?
Exactly. So, moving to planter and planters. Because it is truly in the middle of both, we did not find any cons or pros. Because, in a way, it is the best of both worlds. You have a bit of each, whether you lean more towards plotter or more towards pantser.
Exactly. And then what's going on with that is uh being one of those authors or writers who is right directly in between or leans towards one or the other but still adopts qualities of the other.
Yep.
You're That's what you're doing. You're taking on the advantages, the pros, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, of being a plotter, and you're also doing the same thing with being a pantser. You're combining them together, so are you literally kind of have the power there as far as your creativity is concerned. And
Mm-hmm.
then not only that, because you're in the middle with being a plotter and a pantser, that kind of negates the cons,
Yep.
so to speak, because
S-
they cancel each other out,
exactly. I mean, that'd be the best way to be.
right?
So, moving on to pantsers. The pro of being a pantser is that parents have or sorry, not parents, wow, pantsers have the freedom to take their novel in any direction that they want. They also have flexibility, they're not stuck following an outline. So if they don't like a character, they simply kill them off. As,
Ooh,
as simple as that. And if they don't like the way that their plot is going, they can change it.
that is true.
We've all felt the heartbreak of that moment when that character is just gone.
I know, especially a favorable.
Exactly. We've all cried the tears of that fateful character.
I could
So,
tell you were thinking of one in mind.
yeah.
Who?
Well, no, you tell me. Which one do you think I thought of?
Um, does it have anything to do with Broken?
It does indeed.
Oh snap. Um, would that be the patriarch?
Mm-hmm.
How did I know that? That was awesome.
Yes, yes. You have done that to me. How dare you?
Well, to be fair, I felt that loss too, but
Mm-hmm.
it was integral. But more on that on a different episode.
Yes. So, why don't you give us the cons of being a pantser?
So we do have three cons that we were able to gather for this. The first one is that with a pantser, if they don't have a plan or they have a very small portion of a plan, then it can make it so much easier for them to get stuck. In other words, writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
If they get stuck, then they have to come up with a way to dig themselves out of writer's block rather than following an outline that leads them to the right direction. And then, of course, when that happens, pantsers often, and this kind of breaks my heart a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but pantsers often abandon old projects for new ones, leaving multiple unfinished novels in their wake.
Been there. Mm-hmm.
Hey, all you pantsers out here listening to this,
Yes.
don't stop. We want to
No.
read your stuff.
We do. We want to read it,
Oh,
whether it is like a whole thing or maybe put together a book of the unfinished things, your unfinished ideas. We want to know them.
yes,
Please do not stop.
yes. We love them. We love you.
Yes. So, moving on. I actually have a surprise for you, Jenna. I found a fun quiz online. So, we are going to be taking a quiz and finding out whether we are a plotter, a pantser, or somewhere in between.
Ooh, I like this.
Yes, so these are all true or false questions, and if everyone listening would like to take the test with us, keep track of how many truths and falses that you have, and we will let you know the results at the end of the quiz.
Yay.
Okay, so our first question will be, when planning a trip, Jenna, do you always make sure to have a tour guide?
I'm gonna have to say false to that, because it's gonna depend on where I go and what I'm doing. Like if I'm on a cruise ship and I'm taking excursions off the cruise ship, I want to make sure that my ship is waiting for me when I get back.
Yes.
So, it's very important to, I mean, if you're somebody who does a lot of traveling and you're okay, like you know how to navigate and get to the next port if you miss your port and your ship leaves before you get back there, well,
Right.
then, kudos to you if you can make it to the next port. But me, I have no knowledge of that kind of thing. So with something like that, yeah, I would have to have a tour guide. But for something like here, stateside, like if I go to Virginia or Michigan, New York, Florida, then no, I don't really see a need for a tour guide. So definitely false.
Awesome. So the second question is, on the shelves of your personalized library, are the books methodically organized? I can't wait to hear this one.
So we don't have a lot of, I'm going to say true to
Okay.
that. We don't have a lot of books in terms of like a lot of space in our house, so we only have one. bookshelf. It's a 3-tier bookshelf, and me and my grandma, we kind of share it together.
Mhm.
But that's okay. We read some of the same stuff anyway. So
Right.
the first shelf has a little bit of nonfiction, like North American wildlife, gardening, puzzles, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And then, of course, when we moved, my grandma gave away a whole lot of Stephen King and Anne Rice novels.
Oh, no.
She still has a few of her favorites that are still on this shelf.
Mhm.
The second shelf, or the middle shelf, mainly comprises of Dean Koontz, Jonathan Kellerman, some Anne Rice,
Mhm.
and of course my grandma has to have all my books, all copies
Oh,
of my
yes.
book. So she's got them sitting on top of, you know,
Mhm. That's
on
so
top of,
cute.
yep, Dean Koontz. Um, and then the third shelf has a consistency of 3 kinds of Johns. We have
Okay.
John Saul, John Sanford, and John Grisham.
Very nice. The trio of Johns.
Right?
So,
All amazing authors, by the way.
oh yes. Oh
Love
yes.
them.
So we have a true and a false so far. Let's see where question number 3 gets us. Do you always make a grocery list before shopping?
True, true, true.
Yes, being organized is a good thing.
When
And
it comes
I'm,
to shopping, yeah.
yeah. Number 4, do you panic when you get lost?
Again, this is one of those it depends situations. Like, I might enjoy, like, I used to go camping when I was a little girl, and I used to purposely, like, get lost in the woods to try and find my way back to the campsite. And,
Right.
like, I would go by myself. And then, of course, I enjoy a little adventure like that, just getting lost and, something
Right.
like that. But then, of course, there's a situation where true danger may be around, and then of
Mhm.
course, yeah, I would get panicked. Like I have an experience back in 2007 when, see, me and my grandma, we went on a Grand Princess cruise around the
Mhm.
British Isles, and we flew into Southampton, London, and of course we stayed in the London area. We stayed in a hotel. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was literally 2 blocks away from the Apollo Theater.
Okay.
And that's where we went to see Wicked. Now, this was one of those events in London where we were going kind of by ourselves, like we
Okay.
weren't going with a group of people.
Mhm.
So, being that it was just 2 blocks away, and thinking to myself, okay, it's just 2 blocks away.
Right.
It's to my right. I'm looking at all the posters. So I'm like, okay, when I go in the building, have our entertainment, and then
Mhm.
once the show is over, go out of the building, turn left. Posters will be on the wall on the left. Just walk 2 blocks down, and the hotel's across the street on the right.
Right.
No big deal, right?
Right. So supposedly.
Yep. So what happens after the show is over is they ushered everybody out the other side.
Oh gosh.
So, me not knowing any better, me and my grandma, we walked 2 blocks down, and we were like, wait a minute, the hotel isn't there. So
Mhm.
then, so then I said, well, maybe I'm off in my count. Maybe it's another block or so down. So we continued walking down, and we passed a couple of nightclubs along the way. Next thing you know, we're in the slums of
Oh
London.
no.
Yeah, and we are sticking out like sore thumbs because
Mhm.
we're starting to get panicked. And then there's this group of guys, about 3 or 4 guys, talking in a totally foreign language. To this day, we don't know what language it was, but
Oh
it
wow.
was really scary. So we decided to, okay, we're taking a step back, going back to the theater, and they followed us.
Oh no.
Yeah, they followed us and were snickering and
Mhm.
continuing in their, language. And
Right.
so my grandma, being, as smart as she was, she went up to a bouncer and explained the situation. And then, of course, he was a big dude, really big
Right.
dude. We're talking like Vin Diesel and like
Ooh.
Dwayne Johnson big, but like tall, like
Right.
tall. And all he had to do was just fold his arms across his chest and give them one look, and then they're going back to doing what they were doing back in the slums.
Well, thank goodness
It
for
was
that bouncer.
one of the scariest moments of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in a moment like that, we will panic.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I would have to say, um, to the thing about panicking when we get lost, it depends. So
Mm-hmm.
when there's real danger around, then yeah, I would panic. But if it's all about fun and having a little mystery and purposefully getting lost, then yeah, okay. So really, I would have to say I don't always panic when I get lost.
Right.
So false.
Yeah. Okay, so number 5. When going out to eat at a specific restaurant, do you research the menu beforehand?
Oh yeah, I have to because I have a allergy to soy,
Oh no.
and trying to eat at a restaurant is like banging your head against the wall when you have an allergy like soy. Because you should ask the waiter or the waitress, hey, does this have soy in it or soybean oil? And they're thinking like soy sauce, like
Right.
the soy sauce in the little
Mm-hmm.
jar. And it's like, no, honey,
No.
soy as in the plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the American processed foods and stuff, soy lectin and soybean oil and hydrolyzed soy protein
Mm-hmm.
are in, I'd say, about 90% of the foods that I found out there.
Oh
Otherwise,
yeah.
I have to pay a pretty penny for, you know, foods that don't have soy in it. So yeah, it's extremely hard for me to eat out in public without, uh,
Researching.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, dang.
So I would have to say true.
Alrighty. Number 6. Is your sock drawer categorized by color? We're getting deep here.
Okay, so interesting fact about me. Most of my socks are black. Like when I am leaving the house for any reason and I'm wearing socks, they're gonna be black.
Mm-hmm.
Pajama socks or around the house socks are gray.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I have a couple holiday, like Christmas themed
Right.
present socks, goes with the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
So true to a certain extent, but
Yeah.
if you were to take a look at my drawer, most of them are black.
Black, yeah.
Hey,
It
black
goes with
the color
everything.
goes with anything, exactly.
Yes, yes. It's a very good color. One of my favorites. So, continuing on the clothing trend, do you have your clothes for work laid out and ready to go the night before?
This is one of those. It depends on what's going on the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm just at home, like working from home, and I have nothing planned for the day, like no shopping, no nothing, bang, gonna say it. I'm lazy and in my pajamas for most of the day.
Heck yeah.
Um, unless I'm working out in the morning. If I'm working out in the morning, then obviously a different story.
Right.
Um, but for work, I don't really do too much dressing for work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for other things, like on a Saturday or Sunday, again, it would depend. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say overall, this would be false because
Yeah.
it's kind of based on a mood and what I'm doing the next day.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's the beauty of working from home, being able to be comfortable in your home, and being able to be dressed however you feel comfortable. Like, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
So, moving on to question number 8. Do you MapQuest, or I think we could even say, like, Google Maps, everything, including your trips out to the backyard shed?
Yeah, shed. You know, A lot of things local, no. Long-term trips, like if I'm going someplace in particular, then yeah.
But not your
So,
day-to-day life.
right, I would say false.
Okay. That's fair. Number 9, getting to the sheets you have in your linen closet, even the fitted ones. Do they look like they have been meticulously folded by none other than Martha Stewart herself?
True.
Oh, goodness.
What?
How, like, are they color coordinated? Is it by pattern? How meticulous are we talking?
Well, it goes by season because we don't have that much space where we are, so
Mm-hmm.
we store away the stuff that's out of season, and then when the season comes, we just bring out what is appropriate for the for the season.
Makes
So,
sense.
yep,
Okay, so that's a true.
yep.
It all depends on question number 10. The
Ooh.
inside of your car, is it free of clothing, books, sports gear, fast food wrappers, crushed soda cans, empty Starbucks cups?
I would say. Wait, I have to think about that one for a second. Did you say is it free of the stuff? Then yes,
Yes.
for the most part.
Okay, that's fine. There's always that time.
Yeah, occasionally I might get myself like a cup of coffee, like on my way to see my man up in New York. But then when I get there and I park, I just take it with me upstairs and throw it in the garbage. I mean, what is the point in leaving it in the car?
Exactly, yeah. It's just gonna collect dust and achiness.
Yep.
So, you have exactly. You have 6 true. So, if you answer true to 6 or more questions, you are a born plotter. Mm-hmm. You were so close. If you would have answered 1 less true, if you'd have been 5 exactly, you would have been a plantser.
I think I'm more of a planter because I'm not somebody who uses a whole lot of outlining.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could go along with what Brandon Sanderson says about uh, a floating outline, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
think there's a couple of the questions too where it really is situational. I think you're a plantser based on this quiz.
all right, your turn.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Okay, so when planning a trip, you always make sure to have a tour guide. True or false?
This would be false for me. I understand like the need or want if you're going to, let's say, Italy, a place I know you love. Um,
Yes.
Going to like museums or something where I feel like you could learn a lot more. If you had a tour guide, then definitely I would want one. But on a normal like vacation or something, I would not have one. I would just want the adventure.
Sense. All right, so on the shelves of your personal library, the books are methodically organized. Is this true or false?
I will have to say it is true.
Ooh.
So, yes, I do have a theme. I have to. Like, my books are my babies, they need to be in their place.
Ooh.
So, the top shelf of my bookshelf consists of my favorite series, the things that I, like, kind of go to every day or at least every week if I'm not reading on my Nook. Um, these are my Harry Potter series. I have the Broken series by you there. I
You're
have,
honored.
yes, I have the first ever series that Anne Rice published under her pen name. I have like the box set of that there. Um,
Nice.
I have the Aunt Dimity, at least the first 15 books of the Aunt Dimity series. It's a 25 book series and I'm currently trying to read all of them, and so I own the first 15 physical copies. I need to find the last 10.
Rock
Um,
on.
yes, and then there's Stephen King there, of course. Like
Of
it's not series, but he's there because I love him.
Yes, I
Number two probably consists of more Anne Rice. I have a couple series that we're going to be looking into on this that I don't want to spoil in the second shelf. And then my third shelf is where the books that I want to read but I haven't gotten the time to are. So they're like they're the ones that I want to bring out but every other book seems to get in the way first, but that I love anyway. Um I have a lot of Dean Koontz as well. I have some John Grisham. I have
yes.
yes, I have a lot of my classic literature between the second and third shelf. So Ernest Hemingway, Ella Fitzgerald, I think, just a lot of the classic Tom Hardy, just classics divided between those two. So
Rock on.
in the end, after that long explanation, true is my answer.
Awesome, awesome. So we will mark that true.
Yes.
Moving on. True or false? You always make a grocery list before shopping.
This is a major true. So, not only it's changed since COVID, I feel like technically. Um, I do pickup now because it's a safer option for me and my family. So, I am still technically making a list because you have to make a list of what you want them to pick out for you. But even before COVID, I was obsessed with lists. I would not go shopping without one because it is dangerous to go shopping without a list while you're hungry. You'll get
Yes,
everything
it
you don't
is.
want.
Yes, it is. Now, I love the concept of not going into the store and just having somebody do where all you have to do is just come and pick it up. But at the same time, um, I prefer to pick out my own meats.
Yeah, that is the difficult part. If we do like a special dinner, like Thanksgiving is coming up, I will go in the store to pick up my turkey. Like,
Right.
there's very specific things that I do like to go in the store for, but I feel like it's a lot more safer to go in for one or two things compared to like your whole list. And not only that, I feel like for someone who has a soy allergy, that'd be difficult because if they don't have an item that you want, they will choose the best suitable option that comes closest to it. And for you, that might very well include soy. So,
Girl, I literally, if I were to make a list of everything that I absolutely love to eat, and I go to the store, I would be spending hours in the store
mhm,
trying to find an alternative because I gotta stand there and read the ingredients.
mhm.
Because if I don't do that, I bring the wrong thing home, and then I start to eat it. I'm like, why am I breaking out? Or why
Yep.
is my tongue? Oh crap! It's in my food.
Mhm. So, is there a lot
So,
of soy in cheese?
in what?
In cheese?
Yes.
Oh no, I couldn't do it. No, I
Yep.
couldn't. I couldn't have that allergy.
Yep. One of my favorite cheeses is Land O'Lakes Yellow American.
Mhm. And it's full. It's full of it,
Yep.
isn't it? Mhm.
Soybean oil.
First ingredient, I bet.
Yep. It's in a lot of restaurants too with pastas and stuff. It's
Mhm.
in 95% of sauces,
Oh
like
yeah.
pasta sauces, pizza sauces. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Condiments too, like mayonnaise and stuff. That's like the first thing there.
yep. There's only one mayonnaise that doesn't have soy, at
Really?
least in my store. Yep. It's the Hellman's mayo with canola oil.
Okay. Yep. I use Hellman's with avocado. That's what I use.
We think that there is an avocado allergy in the family, so I haven't even tried anything with avocado. I know my brother's allergic to it, so I'm like,
Don't take the chance.
stay away from stay away from anything with avocado in it.
Yep. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
moving on. I'm sorry,
No.
I cut you off there.
No, we got into the soy topic.
That's okay. All right, so moving on. Question number 4: True or false? Do you panic when you get lost?
I would say this is false, but the reason is because I feel like I don't go enough places where I would get lost. Because of my disability, the way I mainly get around is my like portable scooter, the ones you see at Walmart, but mine's cooler because it has 3 wheels instead of 4. So I don't go enough places to give me the opportunity to be lost. And I think in the opportunity in which I am, like if I were to go over to Wisconsin or something, I did live there for a short time, but it was when I was a child. So, like, if I go there, I'll get a little lost, like in downtown La Crosse or something. I don't panic because I'm just like, okay, well, it's part of the adventure. It's part of, finding where you're going. I think that that's like kind of an important thing in life, whether it be metaphorically or literally. So I don't allow myself to be panicked. Now, if it was in life or death type stuff, if it was like fight or flight, I definitely would. And I think everybody would. But on the regular, no, that'd be a false.
Good to know. So, marking that down as false.
Hmm.
Speaking of food, as we just mentioned a short time ago, when going out to eat at a specific restaurant, do you research the menu beforehand?
No, I do not. I was raised and you tried new things every time you went anywhere, whether you'd been there 10 times. So I never saw the point of it. And the only food allergy that I have is kiwi. And the main thing for me there is just stay away from fruity things or desserts. I stay to like chocolate type stuff or cheesecake. The only unfortunate thing is I am lactose intolerant, but I choose to ignore it because I love cheese too much.
I know what you mean.
I deal with the pain, but no, I have never researched a menu, nor will I. I like to just try new things. I have the
All right.
freedom to, though, so
Nice. Enjoy that freedom.
I will.
Try a little something new for me next time.
I will.
Tell me how it goes.
I'll send you a picture.
Awesome. All right, so moving on. Your sock drawer is categorized by color, true or false?
This is 100% a false. If I tried, it would drive me nuts because all of my socks are mismatched. I have like themed socks for every that's all I have. I have like Stitch socks. I have old school Nickelodeon socks. And I do pair them, but I don't color out color code it or anything. So it'd be false cuz that'd be too difficult. That takes too much time.
Makes sense, makes sense. All right, so moving on to the next question. Do you have your clothing laid out and ready to go the night before the next day?
No, I do not. I just never found the need to. The only time that I've ever laid anything out is when I was in high school. I was in choir. So I would lay out my performance outfit for the night or something because I didn't want to have to like come home and dig through my closet to find it. But that's the only situation where I could see that, or like a special occasion where you're going to an anniversary dinner or something, like lay that out beforehand. But otherwise, that'd be false for me. And it's kind of like you, like based on mood. Like if I pick something out, I feel like the next day I would totally not want to wear it because it doesn't fit my mood. Because you pick it out based on the mood you have then.
Yeah, it's me. That's
Yeah.
me in a nutshell. So it's like, that's why I don't even bother because I'm going to end up putting it. And I will literally, more often times than not, if I do lay the outfit out the night before and then I wake up the next morning, I'll literally put it back in the closet and go through like 2 or 3 more
Yep.
outfits before I decide on one. So it's like, what is the point? It's just a waste of time.
It is. It's
So,
funny. Like, my fiance, I'll be like, oh, can you please grab me a pair of shorts? Because I get overheated really quickly. So even in the dead of winter, I'll wear shorts. To, like, not outside, but to bed. And, he'll be like, oh, how about these? And I'm like, no, that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit my mood. It's too bright. He'll be like, okay, what about these? These are black. And I was like, Those are too short. I think I want something longer. He's like, by the third time, pick it out yourself. You know what you want. Go get it yourself.
See him smiling in the background there for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so it's amazing how alike we are,
It is, and I love it. I think that's why we're perfect for this.
right? All right, so the next question. Do you MapQuest or Google Maps everything, including your trips to your backyard shed?
No, I don't have a backyard shed, but even if I did, no.
Good to know.
So, I don't feel the need to. The only map type thing I would ever use is if I was going somewhere where I had never been and I knew that I'd get lost getting there. But I don't feel the need to use, like, MapQuest or anything like that otherwise.
Right. Yeah, I like to use Google Maps. Like if I'm going to like a new doctor
Right.
or something, or a friend's house or something that I've never been to before. Like I like to Google Map everything so that I know exactly what's in the vicinity of the
Yeah.
area. If I know how to get there, then great. I don't need a GPS. But if I'm still like, I don't know this neighborhood area,
Right.
I'm just gonna put it in my GPS and
Yeah.
call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, why waste the gas? Because gas is outrageously expensive to dilly-dally your way through and trying to find something when you could take the direct route.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 9, getting personal with your sheets here. The sheets in your linen closet, even the fitted one, do they look like they have been meticulously folded by Martha Stewart?
No. Now,
No.
I do know two ways of folding a fitted sheet, but I do not bother to take the time to do so because I know that even if I put it away very nicely, like it could be crisp. Literally, Martha Stewart could have done it herself. I have someone else who lives here would go through and it would look like I just threw it in there. Because it'd be shuffled through like, oh, I'm trying to find my t-shirt, I'm trying to find this blanket or something, and it'll be destroyed. So there's no point in folding anything meticulously, even my sheets.
Yeah, key tip, I let my grandmother fold the fitted sheets.
Yeah, do that because it's not worth the
Those are
time.
hard. I mean, honestly,
They are.
like you gotta look it up on YouTube, and
Hmm.
trust me, I've tried looking it up on YouTube, and it's still like, how?
How? Yeah, like how
How
did
do you
you
do
do
that?
that? I'm missing a step here. You're only showing me part of it.
Right? All right. So, last one. Last one. The inside of your car, is it free of clothing, books, sports gear, fast food wrappers, crushed soda cans, and empty Starbucks cups or other stuff?
So I do not drive. Um, But if I owned a vehicle, it would be very, very clean. Like, I just would not want it to be dirty. Like, I'd want to keep something like that very nice and tidy. So, I'm going to say true that it would be free of clothing and everything like that. I could see myself bringing books with me, but I'd never leave them in my car because they're my babies.
Yep, I agree with you on that 100%. I'll never leave a book.
No,
Like
no.
most of the books that usually travel with me are books in the Italian language.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm not leaving them in the car. I'm like, no, I paid money for that. That's
Yeah.
precious to me. So as far as like language is concerned, like I love reading anything in Italian. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no, that's going with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with keeping the car free of clutter for the most part.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right
No.
to have all that stuff in the car.
Yeah, no, I mean, and for me, clutter causes anxiety. So, like,
Yep,
if in my kitchen, if something's cluttering too much of the space of my counter, I have to clean it because it just drives me nuts. So,
exactly.
I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yep. All right. So that concludes the true or false quiz here. So let's take a look here. All right. So based on your answers, Luna, it looks like you are a pantser. What do you think
Woohoo!
of that?
I think that fits me to a T. I would not I would not be able to write if it was with a plot, or like if it was plotted out. I have tried this once in a series that you kind of read, um, and I stopped it. I couldn't continue because I honestly felt like all of my creative fluid had kind of gone into just the plotting, and I had nothing left to give. So I agree that I'm a pantser, 100%.
Oh, I believe in you. Bring that series back. I loved what I read. You have to bring it back.
Thank you very much. And I think that I have found one more quiz for us to do.
Yes,
But we will do it in opposite order since I asked you first. It is only
yes,
fair.
yes. I'm excited. This one is a little bit shorter. It's actually 5 questions. It's a multiple choice kind of answers
Yep.
instead of true or false. So I will start with question number 1. It says, when I have to write an outline, I feel A, excited, B, overwhelmed, or C, indifferent.
I would have to say be overwhelmed. I have when I have an idea in my head or something, I really do want to just write. I don't want to plan anything out. I don't want to write an outline because that's just not how I do things. It does kind of cause anxiety because that's just not my writing style.
Okay, I can get that. I can get on page with that. Notice how I said that, get on page.
Yes, yes, so cute.
All right, so second question. When I'm writing from an outline, A, I write faster, B, I write slower, or C, I haven't tried, or it's no different from writing without an outline.
I can't say C because I have tried. And A wouldn't fit because I do not write faster. It would be B, I write slower. Because it's just, like I said earlier, I feel like I've left all of my creativity on the page and I don't have anything left. So I wouldn't be writing very quickly. B.
All right, good to know. Good to know. So number 3 says, I lose interest in my story when A, I don't know what happened next, B, I know everything that happens next, or C, I don't really like the path that I have in mind.
I'd have to say C. I don't really like the path that I have in mind. Um, but I feel like it doesn't make me like completely lose interest in it. I feel like it just makes me need to do something else, like
I
work
get
on
it.
a different part or something. So I guess the closest answer I could have would be C, that I don't like the path that I have in mind.
Okay. Number 4, the main reason I don't finish writing projects is because A, I lose confidence in the story structure, B, I don't feel excited about where the story is going, or C, a combination of the above.
Hmm. A does feel a lot like me, but I feel like I blend in with B as well, so I'd have to say C, a combination. A lot of it is a loss in confidence in not only myself but the stories, because I feel like I am super new, even though I've been writing a long time. That writing has been private, so I'm new to the more public writing
Something like,
and
yeah.
sharing. Um, so I feel like C would probably be the best fit for me for this question.
I like that. I like that. I do. Last but not least, the last one says, I'm most excited about writing during A, the plotting stage, B, the drafting stage when you're actually writing the story,
Hmm.
or C, the revision stage.
This is difficult for me because I want to say between B and C. Um, I
Ooh.
I love B because it's obviously when you have that idea in your head when it's all starting to kind of flow into you, that you want to get it all down. So I feel like for me, that is the most exciting, because that is like where you feel the new hope and you feel like the excitement, even if you're writing something that's like maybe horribly upsetting because you're losing a character or the character is finding out that they're sick, then it's still exciting because like you just have it in your head. So B would have to be my answer.
Oh, I love that answer. Rock on.
Yes.
All right, so you answered mostly B. So that leaves you a pantser through and through.
Yep, genuine pantser here. I'm happy with that result.
Yeah.
So why don't we find out if you truly are a pantser, because that's what we think you are, or if you're somehow a plotter. I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see.
Okay.
So the first question is, when you have to write an outline, do you feel A, excited, B, overwhelmed, or C, indifferent?
I would have to say indifferent because number one, I haven't done too much outlining, and the outlining that I have done, kind of like that uh, floating outline
Mm-hmm.
concept. So, so some of the outlining that I have done hasn't really gotten in the way of my creative writing
Mm-hmm.
and just my writing in general. So I would say I'm indifferent.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Number two, when you're writing from an outline, do you A, write faster, B, write slower, or C, you haven't tried, or it's no different from writing without one?
I'm gonna have to say C. It's no different from writing without an outline.
Okay, okay. Do you have a specific reason? Why is
Uh,
it no different?
I feel like it depends on the story.
Right, yeah.
Like I have a upcoming 10 books crime fantasy thriller series. It's gonna be 10 books. It's gonna be a detective crime series, and it's gonna have not one world, meaning like the real world, but it's
Right,
also gonna have a second world in another dimension,
okay.
in another plane of existence type of thing. So there's gonna be I have no choice. I have to
Yeah.
do a whole well, I mean, I guess I could go the route of like somebody like George R. Martin, but me considering the fact that I would be brand new to that whole
Mm-hmm.
genre
Genre.
of crime and fantasy thriller, I think I would just feel better about plotting. I think being able to plot with the outline is actually going to help me
Mm-hmm.
with my whole process. But overall, I don't think it's going to make me write faster, and I don't think it's going to make me write slower. It's just that once I officially start writing, then
Yeah.
that's it.
Exactly. Okay, so C for that.
Hmm.
Number three, I lose interest in my story when A, I don't know what happens next, B, I know everything that happens next, or C, I don't really like the path that I have in mind.
I'm going to have to actually go with none of these.
So we're creating a D here.
Yep, we're creating a D because I don't agree with any of these because if first of all, if there's an idea, if I have an idea in my head for a story,
Mm-hmm.
before I even write it, begin any type of writing process, I will think it through. Like, is there any benefits to writing out this plot?
Right.
You know, is there any transformation with the characters, with
Mm-hmm.
the main characters? What's gonna happen? Is it gonna be a dramatic storyline with their growth, or is
Right.
it gonna be like flat?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something that's gonna be like flat, I don't even bother. Like
Mm-hmm.
that idea is just
It's
in
not
my
gonna
head
go
for a
anywhere,
moment
so
and
it's
then
gone.
out the Right,
Yep.
exactly. So, and then, so that's what it is for the the ideas that I don't think have any
Right.
benefit to
But
writing out. So then I just let them fly away, you know?
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but for anything that I do have an interest in, I will become so like involved with it. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
characters, the characters will just come to me. They're gonna tell me their stories, and then I won't be able to stop writing this plot, like this like plot
Mhm.
point, and sometimes I know the ending. Sometimes the ending changes. And you
Yep.
know, it's just it's that's what I love about my writing is when I let my characters drive the story. Like I'm so fascinated with what
Mhm.
they do with the decisions, um, with the scenarios, the situations I put in front of them, and that they
Mhm.
just kind of go off on their own and do their own thing. And it's just to me, it's fascinating just to
Mhm.
watch them doing their own thing, and
Mhm.
I'm just sitting here writing it, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't lose interest. I don't feel I have to know everything that happens next.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. Like
Yeah.
I love to see that little mystery. I love to see what happens next. Um,
Okay.
so so I don't lose interest in the story because of my characters.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like it does get better if you let them have that free reign. Don't box them in. Don't put them in a box because then you're putting yourself in a box.
Yep, and you're boxing them in too.
Yep. So, moving on to number 4. The main reason you don't finish writing projects is because A, you lose the confidence in the story structure, B, you don't feel excited about where the story is going, or C, a combination of the above.
So I guess I kind of spoke a little ahead with my answer in the last one.
I
Um,
guess.
Again, this is going to be none of the above because basically the answer is the same one as the last one.
Yeah.
Um, I don't not finish a book. It
Mhm.
might take me a while. Like,
Right.
for example, Finding Dakota took me 16 years to complete,
And so glad you did.
right? But yeah, in short, it might take me a little while to finish a
Mhm.
book, but I'll never, like, just,
Abandon it.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
With
So.
the exception of some fan fiction from my early days in my writing, and I lost most of those in like computer crashes. I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, no
Yep.
interest in reviving them. You know, they have no benefit. So,
Exactly. Yep. Okay.
but yeah.
So we will go on to question number 5.
Ooh.
Are you most excited about the writing during A, the plotting stage, B, the drafting stage, or C, the revision stage?
I hate the revision stage
Mm-hmm.
because it feels like no matter how many times you read it and proofread it, you're always gonna find one teensy tiny little mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in that revision stage, you get into perfection mode.
Yep.
So I can't stand it.
Yep.
Like I literally like when my book comes out on the market, like I literally have to get a proof copy and sit down and actually read the physical copy,
Mm-hmm.
and then with a pencil
Yep.
I
You make your
highlight
edits.
exactly because there's mistakes in there that I can see in a book that I
Mm-hmm.
can't see in
On the
a
page or on the screen. Yeah.
on the digital screen. Exactly. So like I hate the revision stage because it is oh so
I
time consuming.
I will gladly read. Like I will continue to gladly read anything you need during the revision stage or before.
Ooh,
Yes,
awesome.
I will help you with that.
So
So,
that being said, that leaves out the revision stage.
yes.
Now, I'm going to have to say I have an equal passion for A and B,
Okay.
simply because when the story comes to me and the characters present themselves before me, then I get super excited, and like certain scenes will just come to
Yep.
me, and like I said before, like just certain things I have to write them out and get them out, and sometimes they'll just be sitting there in their
Yeah.
own little document. You
Hmm.
know, each scene has its own little document, and it's like then I just, you know,
Yeah.
write the story and then add them in as I go along.
Okay.
So I love it, like the plotting and the drafting. I
Hmm.
love them both.
Oh yeah. So A and B would be your answer.
Yep.
Well, looking back at all of your answers, you are mostly C, which is a planter, which is what we
Yay!
thought you were. So I see that. How do you like that? Do you like that as your answer?
I like this one better than the other one. I mean, I get where they're saying that somebody with my kind of answers would be more of a plotter.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I to me, I think it really depends on the
Right. It's
situation.
situational. Yeah.
Right. So for me, I guess I'm a situational plotter, so to speak. Uh, Again, that also applies to my
Your
writing overall.
planters. Yeah, and being
Right.
a planter. Like sometimes in a certain story, you may be more on the plotter side than the pantsers. In
Exactly.
others, you're not. So you're in the middle. You're the best of both worlds.
Yay.
So, if anyone listening would like to see where we found these quizzes and try them out for yourself, we have conveniently left the links for you in the video's description below.
These were so fun. So anybody out there who's interested, I definitely recommend checking them out for yourself.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
find
And
let's find out what you are.
yes, put it in the comments. Let us know, are you a plotter, pantser, or planter, or planter? So many different. So, our next question, not quiz related, would be what is your writing process like? After having taken these quizzes, are you more of a plotter or a pantser or a planter?
I'm gonna have to say I am a planter through and through. Like, I'm okay with the idea of doing some plotting. Like, again, the first thing that comes to mind is the Jefferson Files. So I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm gonna have to do some plotting. I can't wait to do some plotting on that.
Right.
I've actually already started some plotting on that, but at
Ooh.
the same time, some of the creativity just flowed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Luna here is one of the only few people who is actually seeing the map that I drew for the fantasy world for Jenah Files.
It's
And of
amazing.
course, you can also see it on my Instagram account as well. You'll
Mm-hmm.
see a picture of it. But yeah, so some of it is creative. Like I literally made that map in one day
Oh my goodness, I could imagine.
at work
Oh goodness.
in between phone calls.
And I want to say to the people in pen, the woman had the nerve to do it in pen.
Yep, no pencil. I didn't have a pencil. Nope.
I would have gone through
Um,
3 notebooks. It wouldn't have happened.
right? And some plotting, some just letting the creative juices. So like, I'll just have my moments where everything just comes to me, and then
Hmm.
I cannot stop writing like at all. Like leave me alone, leave me
Yep.
alone. I need to get this out, and then it's usually happens when I'm needed for something.
Right. Hmm.
So annoying. But then there are times where I can't, like the scenes are coming to me, but I can't get them out of my head. It's like
Hmm.
I want to keep playing them over and over in my head, kind of like a little movie.
Hmm.
Um, it just does that
You get the
until
best
something
one.
right, and it does that until it feels right. Like sometimes the details will change as
Yep.
I play it over and over, and sometimes I sleep on it too.
Hmm.
But my characters, as far as characters are concerned, for all of you people out there who are listening to this,
Yes.
who are writers as well, I think a lot of you will understand when I say that my characters actually speak to me before I even create them on file. They will tell me things like what they look like, what their hobbies and interests are, sometimes what they do for a living. Uh, pet peeves,
Mhm.
who they love, who they can't stand.
Mhm.
Sometimes they even tell me their own names. Like I literally have, like once in a while I'll go on a baby name website
Right.
just because, just so I can find a list of unique boy and girl names and unisex names, and
Yep.
just because I like to look it up. So then when I'm creating a new character, I'll look at the list and my character will be like, no,
Mhm.
it's none of these. And then I try to go online, like, no, it's none of those either.
Yep.
I'm just gonna spend hours. Let me just tell you what my name is, so that you don't have to keep looking it up for hours and hours. So
Mhm.
it's like they literally just tell me. It's like, okay. Um, Usually what comes to me about my characters, it just comes so fluidly,
Mhm.
and it's like I really don't have to think about it like at all. It's almost, what they call it, an ethereal feeling.
Right. Yeah.
I did recently come across the concept of storytelling with an outline through a large poster board with adding index cards to it, which I think I'm going to apply to my upcoming uh, crime fantasy thriller series, the Genesis Files. So
Mhm.
we'll see how that goes.
I can't wait. You'll have to take pictures because I want to see everything.
Yes, yes, for real. All right, so what about you?
Hmm. Well, after taking the quizzes, because I didn't really know of the terms plotter or pantser. I knew that some writers just kind of flowed, or I don't want to say flowed because I feel like all authors flow, but they do it in a different way. I knew that some plotted them out down to like character creation, down to chapter, down to, ending everything. I knew that. And I knew that some just didn't feel the need to. But I had never known that they had the name plotter or pantser or planter. So for me, I do agree that I'm a pantser because, as expressed earlier, I can't even thinking about plotting everything gives me anxiety. I don't need to. I don't feel the need to. My characters don't want me to. So, but my writing process is more of a feeling and a deep connection to the specific character in the story. Like, I feel like there's always that one main character who just has all the attention, and then you have the supporting characters and everything. And the main character for me just tells me their story. They just tell me, okay, I need this to get out. This is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to tell it. And I may write a chapter and they're like, nope, that's not what I told you. So you gotta restart.
I know, gosh, I know that all too well.
Mm-hmm. And then when I feel and hear them come to me and tell me the story that they want me to tell, I know I have to do it. You feel it. Like you said, the ethereal feeling. Like you feel this rush go over your body and you're like, okay, I know what I gotta do. I know that I gotta get this out. And it almost becomes obsessive, if that makes sense, because you have so much information in your head that you know you want to get out. So you're like, I need to start now. I need to forget the world. I need to grab music. I need to grab headphones, grab my laptop, and write.
Right?
It's just, that's what you need to do. And so, because of all that, because of all the feelings that I have and knowing certain situations don't work for me, I'm a pantser. And I'm glad that I found it out. Pantser and proud.
Absolutely. I loved what you said about how if you don't get it right, the character like literally tells you, no, that's not what I told you.
Hmm.
I actually literally went through that with the very last chapter that I wrote of Raising the Crown. I was this close. I was so close to putting it up online, and
Hmm.
it's still not up online. It's the next chapter that's supposed to be released. I think it's chapter 33 or something like that. But I haven't opened up that document in a little while, so I forget exactly which chapter I'm in. But yeah, like I wrote the whole chapter out. This was like literally right before I broke my wrist.
Okay.
So I wrote the whole chapter out, and I'm like, oh right, I'm gonna get this
Right?
up going online. And then he said no.
Hmm. It's not right.
Giovanni said no. The
Yeah.
character Giovanni said no, that's not right.
Yeah.
Erase that. So I erased it, and what did I do? I accidentally erased the whole document.
Oh
The
no!
But that's okay. I had a backup, so I'm good.
I mean,
But
thank God.
yeah, I have it after literally after I accidentally erased my whole manuscript. I said,
Hmm.
I'm done with you right now, Giovanni. I'm gonna step away from this document for a little while.
Yep, I need
So,
some
like,
space.
I'll get back to you in a few months. I mean,
Hmm.
well, no, not really, but then I
Right.
broke my wrist, and
It
I'm
has
kind
been.
of, yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's literally what happened with me with the main character. It's like, nope, that's not what I said.
but did I hear you right in saying that you wrote a final chapter for Raising the Crown?
No,
Okay, okay.
the last chapter of
Okay.
that that would have gone
Don't
on.
do that to me. I can't
No,
think of it ending now.
no, you still have a little bit to go. Yeah, and for anybody listening to this, Raising the Crown is totally free, 100%, even when it will be completed. It's
Yes.
got, I believe it has 30 chapters at this point, but
Mhm.
go ahead and check it out. It's one of my favorite things that I've written, because the main character is like Italian.
Yes.
And I love Italian culture and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well, not my culture, it's not my
Right,
culture, but
right.
I love the culture.
The culture,
Italian.
yes.
So,
It's a beautiful
exactly.
culture.
Exactly. The language, the fashion, the food. Oh my gosh.
The
Don't even get
food.
me started on the food.
Ooh, yes.
Um, but yeah, no, we still have a little ways to go. Yeah, I mean, we still got some plot twists to get through, girl.
Well, good. I got it close my heart. I thought I heard you say there was an end, and I was like, no, you can't end it now. This is not the time. I do think it would be cool. Like, I love that it's 100% free, but I wish it was in, like, a book format. Because I would own that book. Seriously. Just a hint out there, you know, I don't know. But I do want to add a last minute thing. So, we are wrapping up the month of September. And it is a month that is very important to both you and I. One, because of childhood cancer awareness. And two, because of CMT awareness. I found out today a humongously shocking thing. If any of you guys are country fans, and you know who Alan Jackson is, Jen, I know you do. He came out and said that he was diagnosed 10 years ago with CMT. I did all the research I could, and I did not find what type he has, because every person who has CMT has kind of like a subtype. I have type 1A. But I thought it was really cool. Like, it's such a disease that's not heard of. It doesn't have a lot of awareness. So I thought it was really cool. It must have been really hard for him to kind of cover that up, because it's not as I've said before, it is not a disease that will kill you. It is not terminal, but it is one that is physically and emotionally exhausting, and it takes a lot on your body, and it takes just a humongous roller coaster of emotions to get through your day to day. So I just want to say that it's awesome that he kind of spoke out about that to raise more awareness for it. And for people like me who do have it, it's cool to know that, hey, even though you may not know someone personally in your life who has it, someone, I don't know, someone famous has it. And it's unfortunate because I don't want to say it's cool he has it, because obviously, like I've said, it's a very difficult thing to deal with. But it is cool to know that, you know, not us general regular people have it, that someone famous may have it too. I don't know if that makes sense, Jenna, but
I think it's really awesome that he came out about it today. When you told me earlier today, I was like, wait, what?
mhm.
No way.
Mhm. It's
I
just
mean,
cool.
I feel for him too, because I can see with you having had injuries from it and stuff like that. So like that really isn't easy to live with at all. So, you know, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but at the same time, it was really surprising to I am supportive of the fact that he came out about it, though.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it was great. It was right around the end of CMT Awareness Month, so, raise awareness about it, and hopefully one day there will be a cure. As of right now, there's not, but here's to hoping that one day there will be.
Yeah, someday soon.
Yes, hopefully. So, I think that is all.
All right, everyone. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's conversation at The Flow of Ink.
We appreciate each and every one of you. We hope to see you join us next week, where we will be doing a chapter reading from Jenah's upcoming book, Rachel's Voice. Yay!
If you have any questions for us, please drop a comment below and we will address it in our Q&A portion at the beginning of next week's episode.
Also, please don't forget to hit that bell icon and subscribe to our channel so you get notified for every episode we post. And again, thank you for joining us here at The Flow of Ink. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Ciao for now.
Bye!